This is our last day in Biarritz, the last day of our French holidays, and the sun is gone. Well, it's time to look back at the French holidays and to, I guess, put together some thoughts I have about France and coming to France and visiting France. I personally have such a soft spot in my heart for France. I did study French when I was young. That was my first degree I got. That was a French degree that I was studying when I was still living back in Poland. And since the age of 15, I fell madly in love with French, with France, and with just the whole idea of being able to visit France. So I did visit back when I was younger quite a few times, but then I went to live in Ireland and then I went to live in Australia, so I have not been back to France in about 20 years, so a very, very long time. So I guess there was that kind of maybe a bit romanticized idea in my head about France, especially about south of France, with all the good weather and the slower pace of life and the beautiful food and all the wineries and amazing wine and all of that. So actually being here, having spent the last 2 weeks staying in the south of France and traveling between the south of France and now being in Biarritz for the last few days, it's been really a wonderful experience, an absolutely wonderful experience, even though we lost the sun on our last day. Well, apparently it's not sunny every single day in the south of France, which is absolutely okay. But so let's look at let's break it down the way I broke down my impressions of Italy after being there back in October. And so I just wanted to do the same thing for France, because first of all, the people, French people, are just lovely, so helpful, so kind, so wonderful. We did encounter some, I guess, frustrated waiters in a few restaurants that we ate in. It seems that maybe they don't hire enough waiters, so when it's kind of the busy dinner time or like lunchtime here about 1 o'clock, things get really, really busy in the restaurants and you can wait quite a while, or your waiter might be not terribly patient or fun to talk to because they just want to kind of keep going and they seem to be in a lot of rush. But that was literally the only time we encountered French people as being less than kind, warm, welcoming, and just really, really lovely to speak to. So definitely French people are wonderful. My mom noticed today that you barely see an overweight French person, like barely at all. It seems that French people, even though they love their food and wine, they don't apparently seem to put on a lot of weight, which is great. And also, according to my mom as well, French men are very handsome. And yeah, I must say she's right. Then there's the food and wine, and I really like to make sure that I eat locally, and that whenever I go somewhere, whenever I visit a place, I really want to go to the local restaurants and cafes and really try everything, even if I don't quite know what I'll be getting. I really want to make sure to try everything, or as much as I possibly can during the stay. So we've been trying different things, going to different cafes and restaurants, and we even went to a market just to get like the fresh produce, where we found some local farmers and some fish merchants, and it was such a lovely experience, and it was so busy there. So it seems that maybe this kind of fresh fruit and vegetable and fresh fish and seafood kind of markets. Like that seems a big part of the French lifestyle and French cuisine, because there were so many people there. It was so busy. Every single place we ate in and every time we had a meal, it was just an absolute delight. Like literally every single meal we had was amazing, wonderful, full of flavor and healthy as well. Like we never felt sort of overfull or uncomfortable in any way after having different meals here in France. So it's just been such a huge part of our, like, just a pleasure, big pleasure, or big part of the really amazing experience of being here. You know, the dining out and trying different cuisines. It's been such a big part of that. I was also pleasantly surprised with how many French people speak English. Now, the thing about the language here is, like, obviously I do speak fairly good French, so I didn't actually have to use English too much, really. I did study French, as I mentioned, when I was fairly young, a long time ago. But I can still remember quite a lot of it, so it really made a difference. And plus, everybody just like straight away addresses you in French, and then you have to either correct them or try to speak back to them in French, which I was basically doing everywhere. And so definitely knowing the language helps. However, I've seen in quite a few places that they would try to address me, like speak to me in English as well, or I heard them speak to other tourists in English. So it's just really lovely to see that French people are learning English and that they are just making it easier for the tourists. France seems to be also quite a bit more organized when it comes to businesses and opening times and putting information online, etc., which was a bit of a nightmare in Italy, finding places that were actually open despite of what their online status said. So here, basically, whenever we found a place, a restaurant or a cafe, and if it claimed online that it was open, it was actually open, and it was there. So I'm loving it. I love it when a place is organized because it just makes my life easier. I've also been really enjoying driving in France. It is so easy. The roads are so amazing. Like the quality of roads here, both the motorways and the country roads, like they are of really good quality. I am really pleasantly surprised how good the French roads are and how easy it is to get everywhere. They can be very narrow, that's the thing, especially in towns, especially in small towns, so be prepared for that. You might need to drive very slowly, and well, I had to drive very slowly and very, very carefully, navigating those really, really narrow little roads. The traffic isn't that big, isn't really that intense, so it was just, still easy. Yeah, you have to pay attention, you have to go slowly and carefully, but it's all doable. And finally, the weather. It's definitely a bit warmer here than in the rest of Europe, in the more continental Europe or in Poland. But it's not that much warmer. Yes, we were sunbathing for the first few days, but overall now it seems that the weather is only a few degrees higher. The temperature is only a few degrees higher than in Poland right now, for example. So there's still a difference, but we still had quite a few kind of colder or overcast or even rainy days. So that happens even in the south of France. But I am so glad we got to be here, to come here, to sort of take a break from the still kind of cold and dark Poland, and hopefully when we come back in May, things will be warmer already. I have big hopes for spring because spring in Poland is amazing, and I've been looking forward to everything blooming and the sun being out and just enjoying the beautiful, warm, sunny days.